I need to run to the bathroom. I'll try to be quick.
Should I stop and start again, or just keep going?
Keep going, we'll come in. Oh, thank you.
Oh, Good morning. And welcome to Theodore Parker Unitarian Universalist Church. My name is Robin Colgrove, and my family and I have been coming to Theodore Parker for over a quarter of a century now. As we enter into worship, we bring with us all of the sorrows and joys of our week, and we know that here we are held in loving community. Here we are reminded that we are part of something larger than ourselves. Here we seek to counter oppression, to work for healing and justice in a bruised and broken world. Here we invite to bring your perspectives, your beliefs and doubts, and all that is unique and wondrous about you to our service in the spirit of love. All are welcome here. For those joining us in person, a few things you may want to know. Our congregation is mask optional. If you would like to be seated in an area where others are wearing a mask, this section, over on your right, my left, is reserved for people wearing masks. You can use the QR codes at either entrance to pull up the order of service on your phone or take one of the large print copies available at either entrance. Our service is being recorded today and will be available on YouTube a little later. If you would like to have a joy or concern shared with the congregation today during our meditation and prayer, we will invite you to fill out a card anytime before the meditation hymn on the table. We will also have joys and concerns in person, right? Yes. Yeah. People of all age are welcome to move about in the sanctuary as they need to, or to make themselves comfortable in the cozy zone in front of the first pew. Children's programming for elementary school age kids is happening today after Time for All Ages. During the service, our child care provider Shannon is available to be with nursery-age children in the nursery located in our parish hall. Many thanks to Mary Beth Noonan, who is our camera point person, and to Brian Cartwright and Jan Buckwald, who are our Zoom ushers. If you're new to Theodore Parker or are visiting today, we'd love to stay in touch. You're welcome to fill out a connection card, which will give you an opportunity to sign up for our weekly updates and to help us welcome you. A link to the connection card will be in the chat, as well as our contact info. For those joining us here in the sanctuary, are encouraged to fill out the contact card you'll find in the pews with the welcome brochure. Lastly, sadly, our minister, Reverend Heather, is having a COVID rebound and tested positive again with the resurgence of symptoms over the weekend. She can't join us in the sanctuary, but is again joining us via Zoom to share the sermon this morning. We'd like to take a moment to greet one another. For those of you on Zoom, putting your video on for this time helps us connect. Joel Nidus let me know that the camera has a fixed angle today, so we'll be stuck with the same shot. This will be a one scene service. So please put your sanctuary screening gallery view so we can see the offsite congregation. And let's give each other a big wave. The camera is behind you. Sanctuary camera is under the clock. Now we'd like to give you a chance to greet one another, either in person or online. If you're physically in the sanctuary, we invite you to greet one another and say good morning, and please ask for consent before offering a hug or handshake.
morning. Our opening words this morning are called In the Spirit of Searching by Reverend Joan Javier Duval. Out of depths unknown, the spark of life ignites, and we are born. We enter a world, a universe not of our making. Our lives unfold in mystery and wonder. Questions abound for which there are no definite answers. And so we gather in community to seek in one another assurance and recognition, compassion and strength. We gather in community to be reminded of what is most ultimate and what is most sacred. In this spirit of searching and of reverence, let us worship together this morning. Our opening hymn this morning is number 1000. Morning Has Come. It's in the teal hymnal. And also the words will be put up on the screen. Michael will lead us in singing, and please rise in body or spirit as you are able. Thank you.
Morning has come, arise and greet the day. Dance with joy and sing a song of gladness. The light of hope here shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home. A new day dawns, once more the gift is here. Wonder fills this moment shared together. The light of peace here shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home. Open our eyes to see that life abounds. Open hearts to welcome it among us. The light of love here shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home.
I hope you'll join me now in saying the words of our chalice lighting, our shared covenant that we say each week. I'll say the words in English, and then Robin will say them in Spanish in honor of our sister communion Pasuelas, El Salvador. And I think that Nola is going to help me light the chalice, maybe? Okay, cool. Please join me. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its prayer. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
El amor es el espíritu de esta iglesia y el servicio es nuestra oración. Esta es nuestra gran promesa, vivir juntos en paz, buscar la verdad con amor y ayudarnos los unos a los otros.
Today marks the second Sunday of the season of Advent. And in the Christian tradition, Advent is the time of preparation of the arrival of Jesus Christ into the world. And it is a time to reflect on what it means to be waiting. From its most ancient origins, Advent has been a time of expectation and preparation. As Unitarian Universalists, during Advent, we ask, what are we waiting for and preparing for in our own lives and in the life of our world? We light candles each of the 4 Sundays for the season of Advent. The first candle for hope, the second candle for peace, the third candle for joy, and the fourth candle for love. So this morning, we light again the first candle for hope and the second candle for peace.
In addition to it being Advent right now, it is also the holiday of Hanukkah. The 4th night of Hanukkah is tonight, and in honor of that tradition, we're going to be lighting our menorah. Maggie is going to help us light the candles and say the blessing together.
Do you mind lighting? Because I don't think I can multitask at the same time. That's great. Thank you, Rose. Hi, everybody. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Hanukkah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisim lavotenu bayamin ahem ba'azman hazeh.
Thank you so much. Oh, and here are the translation of the words you saw for just a minute. All right, lots going on this morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Rose. I have the honor of serving as this congregation's religious educator. And it's so good to be with you all this morning. There's just so much happening right now. So many holidays, so many things to celebrate. And also, just to acknowledge a bit of chaos in this service. We're really missing Reverend Heather right now, and sad that she is having to miss another service. I mean, she's here on Zoom. She's listening right now, and she'll be here to share her sermon. But just feeling bad that she wasn't able to join us in person again because of getting a rebound case of COVID, and grateful for the technology that allows us to carry on anyway. So this morning, I just wanted to talk about all of these candles that we have going on right now. There are just simply so many candles, and we're going to also have spoken joys and concerns in this service over here, which means that we'll light even more candles together. And I mean, I think all of them are beautiful flames. And I have a question for you all as we think about all these candles we have lit. Do any of you light candles at home? Is that something? Just raise it. Yeah. Some people. Okay, great. A good number of people. I'm curious for a few responses. What feelings do candles conjure up for you when you see them here, you light them at home? Like, what do we get out of lighting these physical flames? We do. Light. Okay, definitely light. Anyone else? Warmth, for sure. Memories. What else? Peace, love, space, sacred, comfort, hope, beautiful. Yeah, that's absolute. We have one more response? I can hear it. Smell, yeah, that's important too. The sensory experience of the candle. I know I'm a big fan of these ones that we use for joys and concerns are beeswax, and I just love how they smell. I think they're fantastic. So each of the candles that we have up here today have a specific symbolic meaning, right? Our menorah candles symbolize the miracle of oil that lasted far longer than it should have and lit a temple for people who are in need. Our Advent candles over here represent our waiting each week before Christmas arrives, and each of them have their own symbolic meaning. Our chalice over here, our flaming chalice, represents the love and the hope that's at the center of our shared faith tradition. And one thing I always like to think about, especially with all that you all said about what candles conjure up, is that each of these candles has symbolic meaning. And we're not just lighting the idea of a candle, right? We're lighting a physical flame. And to me, that matters. I think that there's something that we're connecting to when we light this physical flame, kindling a little bit of fire to appreciate and share, that is really part of what invites us into this flame being so sacred and special, and in allowing us to enter a different space together. I like to think about how long in human history people have gathered around flames. You know, these electric light things haven't really been around for that long in the scheme of things. And connecting to this element of fire, even in a small way, I think connects us to the past, connects us to our ancestors. And I spoke about this a bit last week as we enter into this season where we're preparing for winter, right? We're getting close to the darkest night of the year, and in our bodies are likely feeling this lack of light in our world, the lack of sunlight all around us. Even on a warm day like today, it's really gray. We're not getting much light right now. And I think I'm grateful for these flames that we get to kindle this morning. I hope that this ritual can help us connect to light, to source, and that we can allow that connection to feed us in the coming weeks as it's so dark and cold. I think any ritual at its best allows us to connect with really ancient and human parts of ourselves, just feel our sort of animal beings and sink into that. And that includes our need for the warmth and light and glow of candles, especially this time of year. Okay, with that, I'm gonna leave that message there and invite the kids here today to join me for Children's Chapel, where we're gonna be practicing for our solstice pageant next week. So excited. Please join us in singing our children out with the Children's Benediction.
For you shall go out in joy, for you shall go out in joy, and come back in peace, and come back in peace. Blessed be.
As we deepen into a space of meditation and prayer, I invite you to enter into the moment here, now. Feel the earth's gentle gravity holding you up. Take a few nurturing breaths and give yourself over to this time of stillness. I invite you to remain seated and join in singing our centering hymn. There will be a light. There will be a light.
There will be a light. there will be a light. There will be a light. There will be a light. There will be a light.
We come into community to share our lives and our hearts with one another. One of the ways we do this is to offer opportunities to share what is bringing us joy as well as what brings us sorrow. In sharing, our joys are multiplied and the burdens of our sorrows are lightened. As many of you know, we've been experimenting with how we can hold this space for one another in many forms. This week, we have an opportunity to share our joys and concerns in a spoken format, which we plan to continue approximately monthly, as has been this congregation's practice. If you have a joy or a sorrow that you would like to share, I invite you to come forward to the microphone, light a candle, and share with us what is on your heart. If you're joining us on Zoom, I invite you to type out your joy or concern into the chat box, which we can read for you.
I'm Claire Barker, and I have a concern and a joy. My concern is my thinking is for Marcelina and Olya, two Ukrainian doctors whom Ben and I hosted here 2 years ago and this past year while they were getting medical training in Ukraine. And my joy is, today is also close to the festival of St. Lucia, which is celebrated in Scandinavian countries because right about now, if you look at the meteorological data closely, the sun starts to set a microsecond later. Now, we don't really notice this, but the days are still getting shorter, but the sunset is coming later. So things are starting to improve before the solstice. Thanks.
So I'm Allison, and I am lighting a candle. I wrote it because I didn't know if we were doing this today. For children's theater, my granddaughter Charlotte and Avi and Rudy Littlewood were performed in SpongeBob, the musical, at Riverside Theater in Hyde Park, and it was a fabulous performance. And I don't know, there's such magic in having like about 50 children all on the stage at once.
Hi, my name is Karen, and my first candle is a candle of hopeful joy. I'm pining to be reunited with my glasses, which I left in the parish hall a couple weeks ago, and if anybody finds them, I'm hoping to be reunited. And my second candle is a candle of sorrow for the grave plight of the Palestinian people, and to light a passionate path forward for all of us to be able to push for a permanent ceasefire.
We have a written concern from Lisa that Reverend Heather gets well.
Hi, my name is Julie. My sorrow is I miss my cat who died 9 months ago, and I guess I'm still grieving her.
This is sort of a mixture of joy and concern. I got to spend Thanksgiving with my daughter, who's halfway through her pregnancy, after being someone who is so concerned about the world that she was not sure whether she wanted to bring a child into it at one point, not too far in the past. She's been working really hard on Israel and Palestine. That's her job, actually, now, and her degree's in it. And I'm really concerned about our country and our relationship with Israel, and the fact that people have a hard time supporting Israel, but also not supporting their invasion of Gaza and the murders that are happening there. So I know there are people working to try to change that, and I wish it were more people than my congresswoman. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jennifer, and this is a concern for my friend that I've known for probably 45 years. Her girlfriend died on Thanksgiving, her girlfriend of 25 years. And it was kind of expected because she was in hospice, but it happened when she wasn't there, which tends to happen. So, I'm thinking of her.
I'm David, and this is a joy of Ann and I having been on a birding trip to Costa Rica for the past 9 days, and we made 12 great new friends, mostly from New Hampshire, that we hope to connect with regularly. And it was also a cultural trip, so we had all kinds of fantastic experiences. So this is a great joy.
I'm not sure I know the right words, but I know that Reverend Heather always says, for all the joys and concerns that we've in our hearts, we'll light one more candle.
The meditation today comes from Reverend Dr. Rebecca Savage, Senior Unitarian Minister in Rockville, Maryland. Beloved mystery, hold us close. Spirit of life, eternal mystery, receive the meditations of our hearts this day. We come to this space with the challenges and sorrows of our lives ringing our thoughts, all that we have left undone, our relationships that may be frayed or fraught, the pressures of life, work, and home hunching our spirits and bringing us down, things, people, and places that are breaking our hearts. Beyond these walls, there is so much that is outside of our control. Let us leave it there for this moment. Beloved mystery, hold us close and whisper into our hearts that another world is possible. One beyond our imagination that we are building together, one prayer at a time, one hopeful declaration at a time, one act of forgiveness and grace at a time, one extension of care and compassion at a time. We give over all of our actions to you, sweet mystery, for we know not the impacts of our faithful practices, nor do we invest ourselves in them. May we embrace today the wisdom that love is enough, care is enough, patience and surface are enough. The rest is mystery, and that may be enough. Amen, and blessed be. Together we rest into several moments of silence, followed by our musical meditation.
This reading is by Samira Mehta. It's from a newsletter that I get called The Conversation. And Samira Mehta is an associate professor of women and gender studies and Jewish studies at the University of Colorado in Boulder. And she writes, Hanukkah is not the Jewish Christmas. Articles and op-eds in newspapers remind readers of that fact every year, lamenting that the Jewish Festival of Lights has almost become an imitation of the Christian holiday. These pieces exist for a reason. Hanukkah is a minor festival in the Jewish liturgical year, whose major holidays come in the fall and spring, the high holidays and Passover respectively. Because of its proximity to Christmas, however, Hanukkah has been culturally elevated into a major celebration. American shops and schools nod to diversity by putting up menorahs next to Christmas trees or including the dreidel song in the holiday concert alongside Santa, Rudolph, or the Christ Child. Even Chabad, an Orthodox Jewish movement,
holds public menorah lightings that look remarkably like public Christmas tree lightings. Store windows, doctors' offices, and college dining halls display Christmas trees and menorahs side by side, though the latter is a ritual object, not merely a decoration. A menorah, or Hanukkah, as it is lit in a specific way on specific days with accompanying prayers more akin to a Christian Advent wreath than to the holly decking the halls. We have both. Metta further outlines the legend that Hanukkah is built on. The Maccabees, a Jewish resistance movement led by a priestly family, opposed both Antiochus and assimilating Jews to the conquering Greek culture. Hanukkah celebrates the rebels' victory over the Seleucid army. In the temple, the Jews kept an eternal flame burning, as synagogues do today. When the Maccabees reclaimed the temple, however, there was enough oil to last for only a day. Miraculously, the story says it lasted for a week, enough time to bring in more oil. Traditional holiday celebrations, therefore, include lighting the menorah each night for 8 days and eating food cooked in oil. Spinning dreidel games are also traditional, as are several songs.
Generosity is a spiritual practice in our Unitarian Universalist congregations. We give to remind ourselves of how many gifts we have to offer. We give to remember that we are part of something bigger than ourselves. We give because we believe in music and sacred space. We give with gratitude for all we have been given and with the faith that together we have more than enough. Links to donate will be in the chat, or you can take a meditated moment writing out a check and sending it to the church after the service. Ushers will be coming around the sanctuary to collect an offering from those in the pews who wish to donate something more tangible.
I think the Zoom ushers are going to highlight Reverend Heather. Spotlight, I mean.
Everybody. So as Robin mentioned at the start of the service, I have very unfortunately had a rebound of COVID symptoms and positive testing after my 10-day isolation. And I'm also feeling quite a bit more sick than I was the first time around, but I am so sad not to be in the sanctuary with you all this morning. And I really appreciate the ongoing well wishes and extra patience and flexibility as I've had to move things around to accommodate this ongoing COVID bout. I do want to just share some extra gratitude. I know it's been a huge amount of work for a number of people to pivot today. And just wanted to shout out some gratitude for Rose Galogli, Michael Johnson, Jennifer Bottomley, Brian Cartwright, Mary Beth Noonan, Robin Colgrove, Marianne Millsap, Cindy Bergeron, and Joel Neiditz for stepping up and helping to make this morning go so smoothly. I am just so in awe of the deep bench that we have at Theodore Parker and so grateful for it. This morning, I'm also very grateful to be sharing the sermon with Joel around the history and heritage of Hanukkah. And Joel is going to share a little bit about the history and his own personal relationship to this week's holiday. And I will share some learnings of my own as a Unitarian Universalist from this Jewish holiday. Joel?
Thank you, Reverend Heather. We miss you. So preparing my, can you spotlight the church again now? I want people to see me. Thank you. Preparing my reflection on Hanukkah gave me the opportunity to try to understand the ancient historical context in which Hanukkah emerged. And I wanted to sort out facts from legend and understand as an adult the origins of the holiday apart from the traditional understanding I was taught as a child. So I, of course, went to Wikipedia and several entries. And here's the ancient history. By 168 BC, a civil war had broken out between Hellenistic assimilationist Jews and traditionalist Jews. King Antiochus of the Hellenistic Seleucid Kingdom of Syria intervenes with his army on the side of the Hellenizers. All practices of Judaism are outlawed. An altar to the Greek god Zeus is built in the Jewish temple. At the time, the temple was the absolute center of all religious practice. There were synagogues spread all over the place. So it was a real blow to religious freedom for the traditionalists. The traditionalists, led by Judah Maccabee, the Hammer, rebel against King Antiochus' prohibitions and Hellenistic extremes. The event that Hanukkah commemorates, the recapturing and rededication of the temple, happens 4 years later in 164 BC. Finally, 20 years later, around 142 BC, a détente seems to be reached with the Seleucid monarchy. The Hasmonean traditionalist Maccabees acknowledged the Seleucids as overlords. The Seleucid Syrian monarchy grant Jewish autonomy, and according to Wikipedia, the Second Jewish Commonwealth is formed. For about 90 years, a period of population growth as well as religious, cultural, and social development follows, including the conquest of territories surrounding the land of the Hasmonean kingdom. In a historic irony, I must say, the conquest includes the forced conversion of one conquered group, the Idumeans, to Judaism. The historical record of Hanukkah challenges my previous assumptions. What seems to have actually happened is different from my inherited religious mythology regarding the liberation of Jews from a powerful foreign oppressor to rededicate the temple and restore Jewish religious freedom. I was not aware of the Civil War, nor was I aware of the conquest and forced conversion of other peoples. When I was a boy, Judah Maccabee means hammer in Hebrew. The warrior leading the Jewish rebels to victory was a source of pride for me. Sorry. Back then, I also felt proud of the Jewish army's victory in the 1948 War of Independence. My middle name is Israel, and I was born in 1948. It evoked, if anybody remembers the movie Exodus, it evoked tears and joy for me regarding the founding of the State of Israel following the Holocaust. Then in 1967 in the Six-Day War and in 1973 in the Yom Kippur War, I was proud that a Jewish army was victorious. Then I gave no thought to the fact that there was another side to those victories. My team won. There are many parallels between the history of Hanukkah and the current war in Israel-Palestine. Just as the traditionalists, we could label them right-wing fundamentalists, became masters of the Hasmonean kingdom of the Maccabees, a coalition of right-wing and fundamentalist parties now rule in Israel. A major power, the US, not the Seleucids of old, have stepped in to support the current Israeli government. The Hasmonean kingdom prospered once they reached a détente with the major power, and that power stood back as the Hasmoneans, who once fought for religious freedom and seemed to become what they initially rebelled against, became an oppressive, oppressive religious zealots imposing their beliefs surrounding other people, on surrounding people. The State of Israel was born with the promise of safe refuge and religious freedom for Jews. But the current Israeli government has now, as a parallel to the past history, become an oppressor of the Palestinian people. It saddens me to have to make a distinction for myself between Jews and the government of Israel. And these days, because of the actions of its current government, I can no longer feel unequivocally proud of the State of Israel. I don't see a parallel between Hamas and the liberal Hellenizers of ancient history. Hamas are terrorists, and I make the same distinction for myself regarding Palestinians that I make for Jews. Hamas governs Gaza, but the Palestinian people are the innocent victims of the current war. What the ancient history of Hanukkah is silent on are the stories of the innocent victims on both sides, caught up in the conflict, but simply going about their lives when the Civil War began. Now we know that a victory on the battlefield is accompanied by great suffering of innocent civilians on all sides. Now I understand that while the Arab armies from Egypt and Syria, Lebanon and Jordan, the Arab countries that surround Israel, they were defeated in various conflicts, but the real losses have been suffered by Palestinian civilians for at least the last 75 years. This year, because of the current war in Palestine, I did not plan to light the menorah. I'm profoundly disturbed by Hamas's violent attack on Israel, killing innocents and taking hostages, as well as the disproportionate toll on innocent Gazan civilians of the Israeli military response. I didn't feel inspired to light the Hanukkah lights to commemorate a victory that history tells us could be construed as a victory of oppressive fundamentalist zealots. Instead, I was going to leave my menorah dark. Then I thought about the ritual at Passover. At the Seder, the service that we recite on Passover, we recite the 10 plagues that befell the Egyptians. While we're doing that, we spill some wine out of our cups with each plague recited. To diminish our joy in gaining our freedom, because we recognize that it was gained at the cost of the suffering of others. I wondered if I could craft a Hanukkah ritual that would honor innocent victims, even as we celebrate the ideals of a holiday at which the traditional transmitted legend and mythology does not fully match up with the reality of history. Perhaps new practices can lend new meaning and significance to traditional rituals, which were always only loosely based on historic facts. This year, I will rededicate myself to lighting the candles of my menorah, to stand for religious freedom and resistance to oppression, the best parts, but not the only parts of the Hanukkah story. But I will also add a new ritual of lighting memorial candles for the innocent victims of violent conflicts. I will place around my lighted menorah 4 yahrzeit candles, memorial candles. 1 candle for innocent victims of past conflicts, 1 for the Israeli hostages, 1 for the Palestinian civilians in Gaza and the West Bank, and 1 more for the innocent victims of other conflicts now raging in so many places around the world. And I will add a blessing, which I will say after I light the memorial candles. Sorry, this is the first time I didn't print a script. And you can see I'm scrolling. The new blessing that I want to say for the memorial candles. May the added light of these memorial candles be a beacon for peace in the Middle East and throughout the world. This year, I hope for a modern Hanukkah miracle when all would embrace these UU principles: the inherent worth and dignity of every person, justice, equity, and compassion in human relations, acceptance of one another, and the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. Thank you. Could you spotlight Heather?
Thank you, Joel. I'm so moved by your reimagining Hanukkah, and as you shared with me when we spoke this week, the word Hanukkah means rededication, and you are doing exactly that, a rededication of Hanukkah, a holiday which, like so many holidays, has a complex history with so many different angles. And though I am not Jewish myself, for many years I've been closely connected with many in the Jewish progressive organizing community. And one of the things that I felt like has most resonated with me again and again as a Unitarian Universalist is the Jewish tradition's persistent concept of partnership between God and humans. And as we consider what a Hanukkah miracle might look like in this time, I think about the Jewish idea that miracles need the participation of both God and humans. Rabbi Claudia Kremen, the senior rabbi of Temple Beth Zion in Brookline, shared with her congregation this week about the meaning of Hanukkah and the need for partnership between God and people in bringing about miracles. She wrote, "As we light candles, we also say, She'asa Nisim, who performs wondrous miracles? Who did? God? Yet it is we who light the candles. This ritual act speaks to the partnership between God and each one of us in order for miracles to happen. They don't just happen. No, they need our hands to act and to do in order for God to flow into the world with light and blessing." He continues, "When it starts to get darker, when we think we are losing hope, when injustices prevail, when suffering surround us, we don't just let darkness rule, nor are we passive waiting for a miracle to happen. We act. We hold the shamash, the helper candle, up to see where and when we need to act, to bring change, to do and to bless, to step up and to stand up, to support and to fight for a better world." And this so resonates with me as a Unitarian Universalist, that human effort matters in bringing about a world of justice, equity, compassion, and peace, that we are all responsible not just for hoping for a modern day miracle, but for working for it too. So as we consider all that is broken in this world, in this season, and especially as Joel names, as our hearts break for innocent victims of fundamentalist governments and terrorist groups, of bombings and violence and hostages, for the suffering of civilians and especially children, both Palestinian and Israeli, may we remember this Hanukkah that we are called not just to pray for a miracle, but to work for one. That we are called to act, to show up where we can, to demand an end to bombings of civilians, to demand humanitarian aid for Gaza, to demand that hostages be released, to demand that our leaders take action, to demand that all life be held as sacred, to give of our resources toward the calls for justice, to call out white supremacy and anti-Semitism and Islamophobia and Christian hegemony where and when it shows up, to heal the places in the world where it is most broken and to work for justice, and to remember, as Rabbi Claudia said, that miracles need our hands to act and to do in order for God to flow into this world with light and blessing. This Hanukkah, may we pray that we might see miracles once again, and may we be partners in their creation. May it be so, and amen.
Now, Michael will lead us in our closing hymn, which you heard as the intro. Please rise and bow your spirit as your hymn.
So you can let the choir sing this once through if you're not sure. And the lyrics should be on the screen. If you all could remove the spotlight of Heather. Olam chesed yibaneh, yadadai, yadadai, yadadai. 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 Olam chesed yibaneh, yadadai, yadadai.
Oh,
Olam chesed
Eating peas.
Yada da yada da yada da da. Olam kesed yibane. Yada da yada da yada da da. Olam kesed yibane. Yada da yada da yada da da. Now we'll do the English lyrics. I will build this world from love. Yada da, yada da, yada da da. You must build this world from love. Yada da, yada da, yada da da. And if we build this world from love, yada da, yada da, yada da da, then God will build this world from love. Yada da, yada da, yada da da. Let's do the English ones again. I will build this world from love. Yada da, yada da, yada da da. And you must build this world from love. Yada da, yada da, yada da da. And if we build this world from love, yada da, yada da, yada da da, then God will build this world from love. Yada da, yada da, yada da da. Let's do the Hebrew one. Olam chesed yibane. Yada da, yada da, yada da da. Olam chesed yibane. Yada da, yada da, yada da da. Olam chesed yibane. Yada da, yada da, yada da da. Olam chesed yibane. Yada da, yada da, yada da da.
Hi, I'm Cindy, and I'm just sharing a few announcements with you. We'd like you all to join us, those of you who are here in person. Join us in the parish hall for coffee hour. It's just right through this door and through the breezeway into the other building. This year we revived our TPC tradition of placing poinsettias in remembrance of loved ones. The poinsettias will beautify our church and welcome our friends and visitors as we celebrate the holidays in community. We are accepting donations of $20 per plant by mail, in person, or securely online in Breeze. To order a plant in someone's name, please sign up on the Google Sheet that was linked in the weekly e-news, or talk to Meredith St. John, sitting over here, Meredith St. John today. The deadline for orders is today. Okay, and there will be a meeting to discuss advocacy related to Gaza in the parlor at noon today. I believe that's 12 to 1. And if you have any questions, please talk to Kevin Murray for more information. Kevin is sitting in the back here. Finally, we have a special visitor with us today. Her name is Jill Cowie, and she's going to make an announcement about Journey Dance.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for such a lovely service, and it's wonderful to be here. I've seen some old neighbors and met some new neighbors. I'm a resident in Rosendale, also a retired Unitarian Universalist minister, retired about a year and a half ago. I'm now a part-time therapist and also a trained Journey Dance facilitator. And I've been in conversation with Heather about bringing an exciting opportunity to this community, to embody the worship theme through movement, metaphor, and music. As a minister, it's a very exciting opportunity for me to integrate body wisdom with more spiritual awareness. So, and to bring it to a neighboring congregation is exciting for me. So with input from the board, we decided to offer 3 classes just as a trial, starting in January. The first one's January 8th. And I think they're all the second Monday, February and March, at 7 o'clock in the hall. And I think an Eventbrite link went out for the January 8th because some of you signed up, so I'm excited. So keep looking for that in the weekly email. And for some of you who are still wondering, like, what is Journey Dance? So it gets you fully into your body to feel the energy of connection with your mind and your heart and your soul in joyful community. We moved to a playlist of about 13 songs that I create that invites the experience of several different qualities of being. We start with embodiment, which involves stretching like movements on the floor, so please bring a blanket so you're comfortable on the wooden floor. And we awaken our spine and then stand up and do more expressive movements with each other that invites a sense of connection and joy. And then we go inward again for a more transformative experience that's both very expressive and a little bit more rhythmic. And then into more heartfelt qualities like prayer and bliss. So that's kind of the whole arc. And I narrate with movements that are suggested, and with metaphors. There's no right steps. It's your dance to explore. And that's about it. So it's, people find it emotionally expressive and integrative. And it also kind of depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for emotional release, you'll get that. If you're looking for connection and joy and community, you'll get that. And if you're looking for body wisdom and insight, you'll get that. So I hope you can join us. Do people do movement as part of their their self-care or spiritual practice, even if it's walking? And people here? So I hope you do join us. And again, thank you for your time and a great service.
One last minute announcement for the folks who, John Labber tells me that there are 5 wreaths left and 1 wreath has been paid for but not picked up.
That will be picked up. So there are 5 wreaths left at all 60. So if your door is unadorned by a wreath, you need $20 or $25 for one of the wreath. See me at coffee hour, actually outside, so you can take it.
If you have any questions, I'll join coffee hour.